in Queanbeyan on a brisk Canberra evening for Monaro Panthers versus Tigers FC. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me for this one is Tuggeranong United head coach Mitch Stevens. Welcome, Mitch, ahead of your big clash tomorrow with Canberra Olympic. Canberra there.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Russ. Really looking forward to this evening.
Two teams that got off to contrasting starts last week. The Tigers, as we know, won 4-0 against Tuggeranong. You were heavily involved, of course, in that one down at Nijong Oval. Meanwhile, Monaro Panthers here were unlucky to lose 2-1 to Canberra, Croatia. All points to a really open match, doesn't it? I
can't wait. Like I said, it was really two interesting performances last week that served this one up. And, tries you might to forecast this one, but it will be really interesting.
For what it's worth, the sides last met in round 11 here on the 29th of June last year, well over a year ago now, and it was a 2-2 draw on that occasion. Wouldn't be surprised if we get something very similar.
Well, I was here for that game, Russ, and it was Monaro actually quite unlucky in that game as well. I believe they were leading 2-1, and it was only a super diagonal ball from former Tiger Darren Bailey onto Mark Shields that salvaged something from that game for Tigers. So maybe it bodes well for Monaro, but I've been very impressed with this Monaro side, and I think it's going to be like I said, it will be a really tight contest today.
You got to see Tigers FC at first hand last week down at Nijong. Ryan Grogan's new project there, the new head coach. Would you say that 4-0 flattered them in the end? You're obviously going to not be entirely happy being the Tuggeranong head coach.
Well, there's two things to consider. I think 4-0 was slightly flattering in that there was obviously quite a few set pieces in that. They weren't from open play. And, playing against 10 men for 50-odd minutes means that it's an unusual one to judge. But like I said, what's really interesting for me from a tactical perspective was that there was actually a change in the middle of that first half against us, which suggested we were doing something right prior to the send-off. And it looks like that change has remained with the starting lineup now.
We'll have a look at those two starting lineups in a moment. Just a quick one. There is another game on this evening as well. Belconnen United take on Woden Western at the AIS. That kicks off at the same time as this one. We'll keep you up to date with that as well. Next week's fixtures, just looking ahead before the two teams come out. Saturday, Canberra Olympic play the Panthers and Woden Western play Tuggeranong United, O'Connor and Melrose respectively. And on Sunday, Tigers FC against Canberra, Croatia at Nijong, and Gungahlin against Belconnen on the AIS grass as well. Round one last week, loads of goals, lots of incident. It's just good to be back.
And I think that's what everyone will take from it. They, after so long without football and so many question marks, to be actually just back again, that's what we all appreciate.
And we have some news of a signing for Monaro Panthers. Evan Alexander Ridley, the goalkeeper, has put pen to paper here as well. He's waiting for his ITC before he can become involved in this, but a very experienced goalkeeper. He's played in Europa League and Champions League qualifiers overseas. He's been capped by Lithuania under 21 level as well, so that's a really good pickup for Jimmy Canaridis.
Well, that's a significant pickup. I was fortunate enough to play with Evan actually in my last year as a player, and it was clear that he was a super talented kid back then, and he's come back obviously with loads of experience, and that can only be helpful both on the training ground and on the pitch for the Monaro Panthers.
Well, we were going to see him actually, I think, play at some stage. He was hoping to go back overseas at some stage to play in Lithuania again, but obviously COVID has put paid to that as well. Just waiting for the two teams to join us here. It might be kicking off a little bit late as we can see the Panthers coming out right as I speak. Well, let's go through their team first. Nathan Alfrink in goal. It's a 4-2-3-1 with one change from the side that was beaten here. In fact, there's no changes, in fact, because there was a late scratching. The back four, Sam Rosebuck and David Jenkins, Eli Howe and Robert Kachenko. I knew I was going to get that wrong straight away from the start. Adam Neo and Aaron Cashman in the holding midfield roles. In front of them, J. James Ward, Nick Dahl and Sam Smith, and the American Lukman Ahmed Shaibu up front.
It's really quite interesting. I was taking a few notes from their game last week, and we have had a trial game against this Monaro side, and where I give certain credit to Jimmy here is that the loss of Josh Golevsky would have hurt a lot of sides, and what they actually appear now is less reliant on that one player. And there's a far more collective effort now in this team, and I think they actually look a better side than last year.
There is one change in the Tigers team. Mariano Canavesio, the Argentinian defender, has broken his hand last week against Tuggeranong, so he's out. That means Tony Spaseski comes into the squad. The team is as follows: Jacob Cole in goal, back for Spaseski, Lawrence Redman, Nathan Medjic and Gabe Cole. Goran Jozowski in front of them, then Rocco Stricker and Julian Borgner, and the front three of Sam Whittier, Mark Shields and Jared Tanini.
Not a bad replacement to have to bring in, Tony Spaseski. That's quite a handy player to have up your sleeve to come back and replace an integral part of their team, which is one of those visa players that Kuma used so regularly.
Yeah, front three all started last week in differing positions. We're going to see a lot of rotation in both these sides, I think. The referee today is Alex McConaughey. He was the man in charge at Olympic versus Belconnen last week, only issued the one card. Jordan King and Brad McGrath are his assistants coming out into the middle of the park. Putting you on the spot, Mitch, what are you expecting? Who's coming out on top?
I was thinking about this because I assume that question may be coming. And again, looking at both sides, watching those games back, Kuma like to leave those wide two front players up high. The fullbacks from Monaro like to get on. So it's going to be that situation. Who makes the most of the opportunities? The 2v1s they create in wide areas, that's going to make the most of it. I'm going to go out and say as long as Rocco Stricker's left foot's not on today, I think Monaro can get 3 points.
Let's have a quick look at the two benches, starting with Panthers. Anton Horsowski, Ben Basser-Silk, Mitch Jervis-Hamilton, James Driscoll and the young sub-goalkeeper Ned Jeffries. For Tigers FC, youngster Marcus Gurisic, Martin Crome, Michael Keita, Daniel Grove and the experience of Alex Olorigby as well. So a couple of game changers in there.
Yeah, that's a strong bench, and when you've got players like Olorigby on the bench who has scored so many goals at this level, it's very helpful to be able to bring on if you need to change a game.
Two skippers in the middle, David Jenkins and Goran Jozovski. Goran Jozovski officially with 258 appearances to his name, but some of the earlier records back when he was playing in the 90s have gone walkabout, so he's probably well over 300 now, you'd think.
He's been around a long time, but what a superb character to have back at NPL1 level. Still a fantastic player too, might I add.
Good quality from Goran Jozovski. Good quality in both of these sides. Now we're going to observe a minute's silence prior to kick-off for the former president of Monaro Football Club, Dominic Barilaro. He was a loyal supporter and sponsor of this club, and he passed away during the week, and the club have been honouring him today. We had a minute's silence before the under-23s match, and the referee Alex McConaughey will signal a minute's silence on his whistle and then signal the end of that afterwards. It's great for the Monaro Panthers to remember one of their most loyal sponsors. And we'll be back with commentary after this minute's silence as we remember Dominic Barilaro, who passed away earlier this week. Impeccably observed minute silence for Dominic Barilaro. Always sad to lose a loyal supporter of football in Canberra.
Yeah, it's a nice touch from Monaro Football Club, and it's something I don't think our sport always does really well in this country, is remembering those people that have offered so much to the clubs, and I think that's a nice touch.
So 45 minutes of action about to get underway. And it'll be the Tigers attacking the goal to our right in the first half. First touch of the season for Tony Spaseski. Lawrence Redmond forming that new partnership in central defence today with Magic. He's done well since he burst on the scene, Lawrence Redmond. 17 first grade games. This is his 18th and seems to be well at home.
Super player. He adapted straight away, didn't he? And a little bit old school in terms of that style of no frills. Wins his headers, wins his tackles, keeps things pretty simple.
There's Magic, the signing from the Olympic. He's played better balls than that in his career. Early tester for Alpha Inc. though. Might find he's under a little bit of pressure with the signing of Alexandra Ridley, but I understand that they talked to Nathan Alfred quite at length before they did bring Alexandra Ridley on board. So, and he was well on board with having, someone of that quality to come along and help him, mentor him as well. So, and that's a fair play to Nathan Alfrink as well to take that attitude.
I think fair play to obviously both the guys. I mean, if Nathan truly takes that on board, I mean, to have someone with European experience come in next year, I mean, you can only learn something. So, like I said, again, hats off to him.
I tell you what, Alexander Riddy's going to have to go some to get a game after the performance that Alfred put in last week. Some magnificent saves in the narrow defeat to Canberra, Croatia.
I think he's a little underrated, Nathan. Every time I see him play, he's a superb shot stopper. His distribution's better than most people give credit for. And I really like him.
It's the first free kick of the evening. An easy one for Alex McConaughey. James Ward just leaving the boot in.
I don't mind seeing that from Jade. He's always been a silky player, technically sound. I'd love to see him a little bit more aggressive, so I don't mind that there's a foul there and showing that he really wants to be a part of this first team on a regular basis.
With you, goes backwards.
I'm slightly surprised, Russ, with Monaro playing as deep as they are at this stage. I thought they might have got on the front foot defensively to put this Kuma side under a little bit of pressure.
There's Tanini playing further forward than we saw him last year. Switch from Spasesi to Magic. Asked Sam Whittier to get after that one, but again, that's overhit from Magic. That's two early ones out the system.
You won't get too many. He'll switch on soon enough and warm up, and they'll be on the money.
Alfric sends it long. Easy win at left back by Gabe Cole.
An opportunity for Monaro to get their foot on the ball now, and let's see what the rotations look like and how they want to build these attacks.
Howe and Kachenko swapping passes. It's Jenkins. Sweeps it forward. James Ward. Cashman's ball. Look for the run of Kachenko, who's made the forward burst from fullback. Here's James Ward again in midfield.
And that's that silkiness we're talking about. A great first touch, changes direction with his first touch, moves it into space, keeps things ticking over for Monaro.
And you'll see a fair bit of rotation amongst the front 5 or 6 for the Panthers this evening. That's how Jimmy Calorides likes to play his football. Adam Neo's ball wide.
He's grown as a player so much in the last 18 months, Adam Neo. He really has impressed me with his development, and his attitude seems switched on. Very likeable guy too.
There's Nick Dahl, who tried to squeeze it through. Mark Shields, formerly of the Panthers. Borgner helps it on its way to Whittier. Patience from the Tigers, the new style that we see under Ryan Grogan. Wouldn't expect anything else, to be honest. Spasesi. Tanini. Spasesi. Plenty of touches early on for the Tigers back 4. And a touch here for Jacob Cole, who spent 90 minutes in the nets for the under-23s.
Put a super performance in just quietly.
He made a handful of cracking saves to keep his side in the game. The game finished 3-0 to the Panthers, but for Cole it may have been a lot more.
I mean, we shouldn't be surprised he's an outstanding keeper and of first grade level, but you still see someone like that making that volume of saves. It is impressive.
Redmond goes back to Cole. Fair bit of meat on that back pass. Magic. Stricker's touch to Jozefowski. Two contrasting players there, but both with the innate ability to get their side on the front foot, especially Rocco Stricker, who was caught a little bit late there by Cashman. And he's down in a heap. Certainly let everybody know about it. Here's Smith. Stricker back on his feet, out of shots. Adam Neo. Neo again, looking to squeeze it wide. Magic was there to clear.
Two sides showing a lot of respect to one another when in possession of the ball at the moment. I do expect that to sort of change at some point as they change the gears, but...
Chance for Shields on his own. Did well to bring it under control. Got the runner outside him. It's Sam Whittier bursting into the penalty area, and it's just a heavy touch.
Jeez, he's disappointing. That's a great opportunity. He gets that touch right. That's a strike on goal in a good position.
Nice reverse pass from Shields. Looks sharp.
And a turn of pace there. He really has aged well. That maturity and his physical prowess hasn't changed.
There's been a goal at the AIS. Early strike for Belconnen United inside the opening 10 minutes. Luca Flores, who scored last week, and puts his side ahead.
On fire. Goal and assist last week and another goal now.
Starting the season well, the Belconnen Blue Devils. Here's Kachenko. Neo back to Eli Howe. Complements Jenkins well in the back four.
It's interesting there. So Sam Whittier had to do it right back because he knows Howe's capable of that diagonal pass. That, of course, leaves Monaro then to roll that ball across the back line unopposed. So it'll be interesting to see if Woody out on the left has to do that regularly or if they're going to be a little bit more aggressive.
8 minutes gone here at the Riverside Stadium. NPL Round 2 live and exclusive on Bar TV Sports, home of grassroots football in Australia. And no goals between the Panthers and Tigers. Neither side really threatening the goalkeeper at the moment. Call this the battle of the big cats in the week.
But like you say, there's not a lot of aggressive pressing at the moment, and I think that's just out of respect for one another, that they know the damage that can be done in behind if you don't get it right.
Panthers got off to a flyer last year and looked set for a top four spot for a long time, but kind of ran out of puff towards the end of the campaign. Shouldn't be an issue in this shortened season. As I mentioned, Jacob Cole, 90 minutes under his belt. That's a decent warm-up for anyone. And he had to play because the only other keeper in the Tigers squad has busted his arm. So whether that will be something that happens for the rest of the season remains to be seen.
It's quite the dilemma, such a short season. How hard do you go out to recruit a second goalkeeper? I mean, I would think you'd have to. But, goalkeeper's a unique position. There's not like there's a lot floating around.
Finding one would be the trick. Neo with a long raking ball forward, asking Kachenko to get on his bike and take on Spaseski. Redmond was back to help out his fullback. Panthers slowly getting the better of the possession. Jenkins.
Like I said, I really do believe that this Monaro side is stronger than the one last year, despite the loss of a couple of good players. They certainly look more organised, and there's a real clear desire in the way they want to play.
Sorry, miss. Rosebucket swung out to the near post, and a bit of shaky hands from Cole. Concedes the corner, and an opportunity for the first set piece of the afternoon. Jenkins would jog forward to lend his height to the Panthers' attack. Adam Neo entrusted with the delivery. Not a massive amount of height in the Panthers team. Nick Dahl an obvious target though as well, I guess.
Did score a winning goal in the grand final from the head.
Certainly did. Swung in towards Howe, who's come up from the back. Spaseski with the clearance. Shields smacks it forward, and Tanini is in a race here with Kachenko. Not the best first touch from the fullback, but more than made up for it with the second. Went at the back by Gabe Cole. Nodded forward by Borgner, but it's going to come straight back again. Resparkin, who delivered that cross. Neo runs into Jozefowski.
But again, that's a feature of the improvement of this Monaro team there, keeping that ball in possession in close quarters. A lot of previous Monaro sides just haven't been capable, they haven't had the quality to do that, but this is a different side coming through.
Tanini with the 360 pirouette. Got away from Kachenko briefly. It's been impressive last year, Robbie Kachenko, and what we've seen of him this year as well in pre-season.
He's got a big, bright future ahead of him. He's a talented young boy.
Tucked away a goal in the 7-0 win of the White Eagles here. Here's Shields. Got plenty of goals. Mark Shields. 132 of them, to be precise, in 202 matches.
It's a great return. And he just does the little things well. He's back to goal play. He's, again, as good as anyone in the competition.
Well, last week from the set piece, Tigers looked bright. Gabe Cole has come across to take this one behind the trees.
That's really interesting.
Swung in. It's going to come for Borgner. Back to Cole again. Adam Neo having a little nip at the heels. Tigers wanted a free kick, and they gave a goal kick. Are you surprised that Stricker wasn't given the opportunity?
It's exactly where I was heading, Russ. Rocco's got possibly the best left foot in the competition, and we saw last week we were hurt hard with just how good that delivery is, especially an in-swinger for the lefty on this side. And yeah, I don't know. It's a really interesting one.
Ahmed Shaibu beaten to it by Spaseski. It's not been in it yet, the American. 10 minutes into the game, hardly had a touch, if any. Here's Howe at the back. Most of the game been played in midfield, to be fair. Jenkins. No press from the Tigers either. Happy to let Monaro play with it deep inside their own half. Kachenko's peeled right to the touchline. Looks for J. James Ward, who's chasing down. Early signs are this is going to be a lot tighter than perhaps we thought it might be.
I'm not surprised, Russ. Like I said, both these sides are organised. Both these sides have a clear identity in what they want to do and how they want to do it.
Well, there's Strucker's left foot to find Whittier. He swings it across to this. Well, good ball too to find Zanini. Only 2 yellow shirts in the middle at the moment. Tanini looking to use his strength. Held off the challenge but left the ball behind.
Well defended.
The danger of that switch. We saw it a lot. Gungalan loved to play that ball. And we'll see that a lot tomorrow at Deakin Stadium. Massive clash there. Canberra, Croatia versus Gungalan United will be there. 3:15 kickoff. Unusually so.
And I'm sure everyone's looking forward to seeing how that game pans out.
Both sides got off to wins last week. That's a good header from Spaseski over the head of James Ward.
I've always liked the idea that a fullback has had some experience at centre half, and it's those kind of challenges, that kind of defending that you see sometimes. It's so helpful in wide areas.
Jenkins, who's the experienced head in the back four for the Panthers. Kachenko. Again, Tigers happy for Monaro to have it this far from their goal.
Interesting to see just there Aaron Cashman coming in and sort of splitting the centre backs, with Kuma sort of reverting to almost 4-4-2 when in BPO. There's an opportunity to sort of ask questions of him in the build-up if you do it that way.
Hefty back pass for Cole. His first touch needed to be good. And he finds Nick Dahl. Looks to burst his way into the area but stopped in his tracks. Pressure from Rosbakken to win it back. Only temporarily though. Very frantic opening in the 15 minutes, a bit crowded.
Yeah, when you've entered that final third, everything else has sort of been done relatively slow in the build-up.
Shields, long way from goal. Jozefowski. Change of direction as Redman asks Spaseski to come forward. Tanini. Heavy first touch, usually picked off by Nia. But they have it back, Tigers. There's another ball forward for Magic, and that's a better weight from him. And Whittier will get after this, and he'll get there ahead of Rosbakken. Half a chance here for the Tigers.
It tends to be the case for some of the better passes of the ball, you know, that 1 or 2 just to get going.
Well, turnover and a chance for the Panthers to burst forward. Not many up in attack, and Stricker stops J. James Ward in his tracks before it really gets going at the moment. Quarter of an hour in, we haven't seen anything of Lukman Ahmed Shaibu.
He's finding hard to find space in there. Josefowski screening well. Magic and Redman are on him.
Well, we saw last week some glimpses of his ability, possibly unlucky not to get a penalty against Canberra, Croatia, and perhaps should have scored earlier in the contest. He held his hand up. I spoke to him pre-match, and he was saying, yeah, he wasn't particularly happy with the way he finished that, but that he got into the positions is I guess, quite encouraging for Jimmy Canarides.
And that's what you look at when you're reflecting upon it, is at least you're creating those opportunities.
Good battle this between Kachenko and Tanini already. Cashman spreads it wide. Smith's peeled into that area.
Sam Whittier with his hands on his head. Now, I don't know if he was tired or if he'd been winded or something by one of the challenges earlier, but you can see he's very conservative again in his positioning.
Howe. Long ball over the head of Cole, and there's a chance here for Panthers.
Super pass.
Smith has it. Into the middle towards Ahmed Shaibu. Can't get there. Spaseski nods it clear. Rosebakken from distance. Good hit that, but didn't quite have the accuracy. Struck it well. Ambitious, though, I think you'd say.
I reckon going into coach mode, I'm Jimmy. Bring that ball under. Build the next attack. I mean, that's got to be an absolute worldie from there.
Well, you're not whinging if it pops into the top corner, are you?
Unfortunately, the odds of that are slim.
It's Whittier's turn to swing it wide to this near side to Tonini, and he asks Borgner to get on his bike.
Some real pace shown by Howe there to cover that. That really wasn't a threat once he got on his bike.
Bit of promise, though. Seems to be opening up somewhat. Redmond challenging with Ahmed Shaibu. Nick Dahl beating Jozefowski to the ball, but Cole was there. Appeal for handball against Stricker, not given, but he's given it away. And promptly gets it straight back again. It's been an interesting opening for Sam Smith.
I thought Sam has looked the best he has in a number of years this year. We haven't quite seen it today, but I think he looks in shape, he's hungry, he's really contributing to this Monaro side.
This is his 63rd NPL game, and he has 20 goals to his tally, which is not an insignificant return at this level from that many games. Goal every third match.
He never quite got the consistency in terms of selection whilst at Belconnen, and Monaro sort of given that opportunity over the last couple of seasons. But like I said, we've certainly seen this year it seems to be coming to fruition.
Here's Howe. Kachenko gets a better of Tonini there. James Wards to Kachenko again. Cashman. And that's a poor ball, and a chance for Stricker to send it down the middle, and he can't either. Sorry, Whittier, that was, who tried to find Shields.
Now that ball can kill you, especially with your fullbacks advancing like the Monaro like to play. You can't afford those cheap turnovers.
If you've just tuned in, we've played nearly 20 minutes. It's 0-0. It's been only one goal at the AIS. That was scored by Luca Flores early on. Belconnen lead won Western by a goal to 0. We'll keep you up to date with that one. You can obviously watch that one, of course, on the Capital Football YouTube if you inclined towards either of those clubs.
It's great football by Monaro.
Chance on the break for Neo to swing it into the penalty area. Dahl was arriving. And Stricker calmly gets it under control and sweeps the ball forward. And he had Tonini in a lot of space there if he could have picked him out, and he'll be a little bit disappointed he hasn't.
I mean, not too many people probably can play that pass, but he certainly can.
So Ahmed Shaibu come deep to get it, and Jozefowski pings his heels and then spanks it away. I'll give him a little chat from Alex McConaughey.
It's interesting he doesn't get a booking for that.
Discretion the better part of valour there for Alex McConaughey. Doesn't want to get the cards out if he can help it.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's just sometimes you do get bookings for those ones and you ask why, sometimes and not others.
Borgner wins the tackle. Goes back to Spaseski. Guess if that's the 90th minute of the game and they're winning 1-0, he definitely goes in the book for that. Ball forward, Tonini just offside. Brad McGrath with the flag. No real chances of note at the moment.
I need that half opportunity for Sam Whittier for Tigers FC. But even then, like I said, the heavy touch let him down in that moment.
Here's Stricker. Spaseski. Goes home to Redmond. Jozefowski just peels into lovely little pockets of space. Goran Jozefowski might not have the legs of yesteryear, but the brain's still very much in evidence. Loses out on that occasion to Cashman. Dahl finds James Ward. When he's giving it away to Borgner, there's a chance here, but there's only Shields ahead of him.
Again, they're the passes that are going to hurt Monaro if they get them wrong.
Julian Borgner scored twice in 60 seconds last week. Sorry to bring that up, Mitch.
It hurts when one of them was from a corner, right?
Direct.
He's not the tallest yet. Yeah. Grim viewing. If you're a Tuggeranong fan.
Good read that by Eli Howard. He comes forward. Here's Ahmed Shaibu. First chance to see him strike one goalwards and had the confidence to take on the shots. Didn't test Cole, but better stuff from the Panthers in the front third.
Definitely think they look a little bit more organised. They're finding a little bit more space as they enter that final third. Tigers are very, very comfortable building the ball up, but struggling from that middle third to final third to create much.
Tigers have got some run after this game. Canberra Croatia at home next week, then Gungahlin United away, then Canberra Olympic away. Decent next set of fixtures for the Panthers. They go to Olympic next week, and then on the synthetic at Woden Western.
It's a tight competition. I don't see any walkovers.
Well, there's no room for error, is there, really? No. I mean, in such a short year. Pressure might be on Canberra Olympic tomorrow against Tuggeranong at Canberra. Never a easy place to visit for any visiting team. They lost last week, of course, to Olympic, the league champions. It's
tough. It's such an unusual year. We've had 2 pre-seasons. We've had all these breaks. Players have openly talked about sometimes lacking motivation to be training with no sort of games coming up. So some clubs are not going to be in the best position, and it's not a reflection necessarily of the work that they've done or how good they can be.
Interesting concept this year, of course. After the seven rounds of competition splits into the top 4 and bottom 4, another 3 matches for everybody, and then finals for the grand final, and then I guess the plate final or whatever they're going to call it. Here's Neo, left-footed drive, but didn't get that on target either. Not sure what they're going to call that yet. Lachlan Roberts from Capital Football's floating around. He might be able to tell me the name of that competition eventually. Put him on the spot. For the time being, we'll call it the bottom 4 plate.
It's the one you don't want to win, I don't know. Is it?
The consolation prize.
Consolation. You did really well for not making top 4.
It's an unusual situation to be in, isn't it, for those kind of players? Because, if you do win that competition, it'd be great to get a trophy. But can you celebrate 4th or 5th? I guess it'd be 5th.
I wouldn't be. But I'm sure there's some players, teams, clubs that maybe say, hey, it's something they really want to get their hands on if they can. But, yeah, it's... I'd like to see that more from Julian Borgner, making those inside to out runs, especially if Tanini has to drop in short. It gives them a little bit of that forward thrust that I think they need at the moment, Tigers.
Rose Barkin. Smith trying to help it on again. We've lost out here. Here's a chance for Cashman to bring it forward. He's got runners. Ahmed Chaib is one of them. Couldn't pick him out. Falls for James Ward. Neo into the penalty area. There's a chance for James Ward. He's dancing his way around, and
he'd probably prefer the free kick.
They asked a question, didn't he, about McConaughey about why he didn't get it.
It certainly looked, again from this distance, but it did look like a foul.
Spaseski to Borgner, back again to Spaseski. Tanini, who's gone infield to the centre forward rod. Jenkins has fouled him there. Left one in on his ankle.
Must be tough for Tanini, though. He's an outstanding right back. He can do a job high up the pitch, of course.
He's been a massive servant to this club, hasn't he? And they've asked him to play all over the place, really. Right back, right midfield, left back.
And had a brief moment there, he's playing centre forward.
Here he is in the penalty area, and he's got a chance here to fire it across goal. Shields was the target, couldn't pick him out. Jozowski picks up the loose pieces. Magic involves Stricker. Cole's gone outside him. That was highly ambitious. He's going to get there, though, in the end game, Cole, but the flag's gone up for offside. The passing range from Stricker and Magic, and we both know a good pass to the ball. It's just not quite there at the moment, is it?
And it's partly through the defending of Monaro. You know, it's a small area they're looking to find. And so far, Monaro have defended it well. But like I said, it only takes one. And these guys are capable of that pass.
Well, as the Olympic Belko game was last week, these two sides look very evenly matched across the park. Might take a moment of magic to break this deadlock. We're expecting goals tonight, and I'm still expecting some. Here's Neo in midfield. Try to poke it through towards the runner.
It can certainly go one of two ways. Either one of the coaches believes they've got something.
We'll come back to that in a second, because here's Ahmed Shaibu forcing Cole into a brilliant save, and Jacob Cole having a word with his defence. Lovely 1-2. And Ahmed Shaibu, that just shows you what he's got in his locker. Decent hit, and it needed a world-class save. We saw some crackers here last week, and there's another one.
I thought that was fantastic build-up, though. I like that. There's always the third man run with the way this Monaro side attack. And it looks fantastic when it comes off.
The upshot is a corner. Good hand up from Cole as well to push it away from the on-running Panthers attackers. Swung deep towards the far post. I think maybe Smith got a nudge off his own player there as he was lining up the header.
Yeah, it was Jenkins out the back, and they appeared to have it covered, and then nearly got into each other's way.
They do have a throw, though. Chance to maybe load something into the penalty area, but not like that. It's Basics letting Aaron Cashman down on that occasion. First real shot of note, though, and first real opportunity. Here's James Ward looking to change that again. Kutchenko on the burst. Briefly got behind Spaseski, who defends well.
It's well defended.
But it just showed what Monaro can do when they do try and play that little 1-2 around, and it forces the goalkeeper into, Jacob Cole played 90 minutes, as we said before. Maybe he's got his eye in.
And even in warm-up, I mean, they were peppering with plenty of shots, so there's no excuses there. Jacob is a great goalkeeper, and he's had plenty of opportunity to get ready today. But
that's his first save of note. I'm sure it won't be the last. Here's Borgner. Slips on the surface. Might be getting a little bit greasy at this time of night. Certainly a little bit of haze over the ground, isn't there, from some smoke from a barbecue. Smells like a barbecue.
The surface is not particularly soft either, so if it does get that little bit icy, I could imagine a few players slipping out there.
Mind you, this time of year, the Riverside looking in tip-top shape for football. It looks a bit yellow in parts from up here, but the field itself is in top-notch.
No, it's in great condition.
They've done plenty of work in the clubhouse here. You can't see it on this near side, but obviously because the camera's facing away, but this clubhouse where we're standing on, brilliant for commentary. Wide open spaces. There's a fantastic VIP area. There's now a little office as well. Very progressive club. Monaro Panthers off the field as well.
I mean, it's just such a far cry from what it used to be. I mean, you actually look forward to coming to the Riverside now. Whether you're a player, off the field, it really is a lovely venue.
Here's Ahmed Shaibu. Wants it back again. Has got it back, and off he goes. Here's a chance for James Ward to slide it in. Bit of a battle round. Nicky Dahl pops one at goal, but that's not going to trouble the goalkeeper. You do wonder, though, Mitch, sometimes if you have this welcoming setup, how much you lose as a club in terms of, it's not a great place to go. You never used to like going there. Now it's a bit more welcoming, isn't it? A bit like Arsenal and the Emirates.
It is. It's sort of, both sides of the sword type thing. You want a great venue because you want your players to enjoy being there, and it helps with youth development, players wanting to be a part of their club. But at the same time, if the opposition are licking their lips to come and play here, and you're coming up against some super teams in this competition, then that can also go the other way for you.
Here's Spaseski. Every club and its ground has got its charms. You'll be at Canbar too tomorrow.
And mind you, there's been plenty of off-the-field stuff happening with Canbar. There's a new irrigation system in. We've been working really, really hard with the local government to get that that surface improved. So make no mistake, we love that people don't like going there. But we also understand there has to be some improvements made, that's for sure.
And some good off-field work as well, as you said, around the new dugouts there as well.
New dugouts, and we've got a new training hub now at one of our Canberra training facilities, which is making a huge difference to the way we do things and what we can offer our players.
Good to see that from all clubs. Here's Stricker. The better the facilities, the better the players, the better the competition. Jozefowski forward to Borgner. Whittier hugging the touchline.
And just in that moment, Tigers step up a gear. You could feel it.
It's Whittier again. Well, they've always loved attacking the Tigers. Never been a team shy in coming forward. Many, many years under Gabby Wilk, of course, and this is the first year for Ryan Grogan in charge.
That was his fingerprint, wasn't it? It was, Gabby loved to have, talented players, and he'd put more on the pitch that he could, sometimes tactically manage, but they were always exciting to watch.
Yeah, there was always the thought when you played the Tigers that you score 4, we'll score 5.
Correct.
And they're great to watch. They've tidied up a little bit defensively over the last couple of years. Here they are in an attacking force with Borgner looking to lift it towards Tanini, who's got in behind here. Took it on his head when a chest might have helped him out a bit more. Spaseski coming back from fullback to help him, but bounced off his shin and out of play. They are missing, of course, as I said, Mariano Canavessia, the Argentinian. I saw him earlier on. He's got his hand strapped. He's hoping to be back for next week's match with Canberra-Croatia, but he's got to be a bit careful, apparently. Doesn't want to do some permanent nerve damage to that left finger.
I broke my hand when I was a player, and it was a similar thing. It's that threat of doing more damage. And you might feel like you're okay.
The proximal phalanx in his pinky. I mean, that means absolutely nothing to me, but there's people watching that are studying physiotherapy or
they'll know what you're talking
biology
about.
Or whatever it is these days. They'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, he looks in a bit of pain, but it must be really frustrating when you break a finger like that to be missing a game like this, because it is a finger.
Yep. But you just think about how often, as a defender, you're using your hands. That's a great ball.
Great ball over the top, and a chance for Smith. He's in behind here. Can he get it under control? He can. Cole comes out. Must be a goal. Easy for Monaro Panthers. And they take the lead.
What a super ball from Howe at the back. That's that diagonal. That was one we were talking earlier about Sam Whittier needing to be conservative in his positioning to help support out there. They haven't got it right, and they have ripped them apart.
Was it James Ward who got the finish in the end? Just unmarked inside the 6-yard box, and Cole had committed himself. Smith slid it across goal, and the Panthers show their teeth first. Taken 35 minutes, but it's 1-0.
I'm impressed with Sam Smith there. I mean, many a striker will go themselves one-on-one with that time, but he's picked the much better option, which is just the tap-in, and that's a real team player. And again, that's really pleasing for Monaro to see.
It's hard in mouth moment, isn't it, when it rolls across you 6 yards out and you think you'd just roll it in the goal. And James Ward never looked like missing that.
It's the only time you want to see the ball going straight down the middle of the goal is he's in a tap-in, not finding a bottom corner.
I believe that's his first goal in NPL first grade. Won't get an easier one, I don't think.
It's nice to get that away. And now, suddenly Monaro stepping, pressing. Is there potential for another goal before half-time?
Pressure was on Redmond. Tigers need to up the ante. Magic steps away from Cashman. Looks to slide it through, but Jenkins was there. And it will stem back, as you said. It's a wonderful ball from Eli Howe to pick out the run of Smith, who broke the defensive offside trap. Here he is playing a 1-2 with Dahl. Picked off by Jozefowski.
It had real momentum too, had that pass been made.
Magic turning, runs into trouble, into the shape of Dahl, and now here come the Panthers again with the goal scorer. James Ward, Neo, Ahmed Shaibu, Adam Neo, opportunity on the left foot, and Cole is called into action again, and Adam Neo not happy that he didn't strike that quite as well as he would have hoped, but opening them up.
It was a real chance. Monaro looked good here, and there definitely appeared to be some afters.
Magic not happy with the challenge from Nick Dahl,
I don't think. Well, something appeared to happen on the ground. Both players weren't happy with each other.
We'll keep an eye on that little battle. Cashman lost to Jozefowski, Whittier forward to Shields. Bit of space for him to turn and maybe ignite something for the Tigers. Borgner Tanini out wide. Just play it round the corner towards Shields, whose frustration was evident. Nice footing from Kachenko, though.
Yeah, Tanini gets that ball right. Mark's in a dangerous position. But it's interesting. That's that breakdown in those critical central areas from, a central midfielder that both sides can't afford to get wrong.
Spaseski. Redmond. Well, you know what the Tigers won't do is they won't panic. Plenty of time for them to rectify this as Magic goes long again over the head of Resbarken.
Didn't think that was a bad ball.
Jenkins. He looks to go long himself. Chases on for James Ward again. Cole needs to be careful. It's Spaseski's turn to go long. Again, Resbarken asked to do some defensive work and does it well.
We're well aware how much a goal changes a game. And all of a sudden, the volume's gone up, the pace of the ball. It's also a little bit more direct by both sides in the last couple of minutes.
Panthers played 7 pre-season friendlies and they were only behind in one of them. And that's how they've started the season. They went behind last week, got themselves level, and this week they're ahead. Many people thought they might be a slight unfortunate not to win last week.
And there's that ball that's coming a little bit more direct. Poorly defended though.
Here's Ahmed Shaibu. Lukman Ahmed Shaibu's playing a long way from goal. Swings that ball in. Lots of space here for Robbie Kachenko. Brings it down nicely. James Ward with a drive. Blocked by Redmond. Flags up against Smith.
It's notable though when he drops off the front line and does come back and get that ball with runners going past him, how much better Monaro look.
Well, they lead here 1-0. J. James Ward's goal. After 35 minutes, it's still Belconnen 1, Woden 0 at the AS. Luca Flores early opener. As it stands, Belconnen going top of the table. Ahead of 2 matches tomorrow. Still massively early days, of course. Only in round 2. Whittier. Rosebucket in the way. Stricker's there. Wins the corner.
Does he take this one?
Well, he's closest. I'm sure he will. He'll be an outswinger if he does, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Redmond's gone forward, nodded in one last week at Nigel. Shields has peeled to the far post. Magic's up there as well. It's a flat delivery and it was missed at the near post.
I wish he delivered corners like that last week.
Perhaps he's used them all up against yourself, Midge.
Wouldn't surprise me. I think his only appearance last season was against us in round 1. And shock horror, Redmond scores a header from a corner, Rocco Stricker corner, and Rocco also scores a goal last year.
It's a Kuma Tigers conspiracy. Kachenko. Bright first half from him. Cashman. Under pressure. Neo's touch. And here's a chance to bring it forward. Cashman again. That looked like a free kick. Referee's waved play on. Magic very much just shoved him over there. It's going to break here for J. James Ward. He's created a shooting chance for himself and snatches at it.
It was a corner. I thought I heard a touch.
Cut across the ball. But it looked like a foul, didn't it? I think Alex McConaughey declines to have a word with Magic.
Yeah, I'm not unhappy with him playing on there. There was a little bit of momentum.
5 minutes to go here, live on Bar TV Sports. There was a women's NPL match on this one early on, and it finished Monaro Panthers 1, Tuggeranong United 1. Canberra Olympic took 3 points in the WNPL this afternoon with a 5-1 win over Woden Western. A couple of goals from Nicole Begg there, and one for Ashley Sykes.
2 very good players.
We saw 2 cracking goals here. Rhiannon Daisy from a mile out for Tuggeranong in the women's game, and Rachel Hardwick with a free kick from the edge of the box. to level matters in what was an entertaining match. More WNPL tomorrow as well, of course. Strucker's ball over the top. Good one too. Might come for Shields on the angle.
I'm glad the substitutes are watching.
Didn't quite get that right, but you can understand why he's taken that on from that angle.
Well, he hasn't had a lot to play with in his first half.
Well, Whittier's swapped flanks with Tanini for the time being. Big gap in the middle of the park here for Nick Dahl. And rather wastes a pass.
Again, that's probably the only thing that's been lacking from this Monaro performance is that discipline of getting those little things right in the middle of the pitch there. A couple of times it's, a stray pass, or other than that, it's been very, very good.
Dahl is fouled by Borgner. Free kick Panthers. Into the shadows of the first half. Eli Howe, who played a major part in the goal that separates these two sides. Sam Smith credited with the assist, of course, and J. James Ward with a debut NPL goal in his 12th appearance at this level. Jenkins. Howe. Again, space in midfield for James Ward, who's popped back to collect that. Cashman. Movement's good. They're finding the pockets of space now, the Panthers, that perhaps weren't there in the opening exchanges.
There was also that discipline showed from the two centre-halves to keep that ball between them and let Tigers FC make a move first.
Picked off by Jenkins. Look for the run of Ahmed Shaibu. Chance for Roseback to swing this into the penalty area, and Coles come to collect. Rolls out to Spaseski. Closed down very quickly. Here's Whittier. Spaseski bursting forward. Only Shields ahead of him at the moment, so he uses the obvious pass. Strucker. Good momentum to this attack. Now Whittier stayed on side here. Can he deliver something for his team? He's taken a slight deflection, and that makes it all the more easier for Nathan Alferink, who's been largely unoccupied in the opening 45 minutes. Nice nod down for Spaseski for Jozefowski.
Lovely composure.
Rosbakken wins it, and they go up a gear in these positions to the Panthers.
And look at Rosbakken just charging down that flank. But this is the opportunity that Tigers have.
Not many numbers up front, though, is there? There's only Shields ploughing a rather lonely furrow down the middle. Here's Howe. Kachenko. He's a raking ball, asked a lot of Ahmed Shaibu. They played a few of them today for the forward to chase, and to be honest, he's been a good runner for those, but when he's had it to his feet, he's looked a lot more dangerous.
Absolutely, absolutely. When he's been able to drop in, link with that midfield, that's when he's done his best work.
Loose one from Shields. Picked up by Neo. Dahl finds Cashman. James Ward's made the run from out to in. Cashman swings it in. Good one too. Cole came, collected. Half. Magic got rid of it. Chance for another delivery, this time from Rosbach. And Ahmed Shaibu got away from his marker but couldn't direct it goalwards. Tough one dropping in behind him. But good delivery from Rosbach.
Great delivery. Still half a chance.
Half-time at the AIS. Luca Flores' goal is the difference. Belconnen 1, Woden at Western 0. When Western were only 1-0 down at half-time last week against Gungahlin United, and it all fell apart within 30 seconds of the restart for them.
Yeah, that hurts, doesn't it?
Would hurt from a coach's point of view, I'd imagine. All the hard work you've talked about at half-time. Keep it tight for the first 10 minutes or so. And 30 seconds in, it's 2-0.
It just means that so much that was discussed at half-time is out the window.
Long way back from there as well. Great ball forward. Now Tanini's brought this down. Chance to bring his teammates into play. Couldn't pick out the pass to Borgner. And that's half-time, says Alex McConaughey. A half in which It took both sides plenty of time to get themselves into the groove, Mitch, but when they did, there was some good football play from both teams, and you think Panthers took the one chance that came their way.
I think Monaro have had the upper hand, if I'm totally honest. Both sides were very, very composed when building up that play, but that was because there wasn't a lot in the way of pressing going on. But as that game went up a couple of gears, I thought Monaro created the half chances. They deserved the lead, in my opinion. And like I said, it'll be an interesting response from Tigers. They got the firepower on the bench, but there's definitely work to do for Tigers. They haven't created much.
Well, Lukman Ahmed Shaibu tested Jacob Cole early on when there's a decent save from the goalkeeper, but the only goal came after 35 minutes, and it came from J. James Ward, his first at this level, tapping in after Sam Smith had drawn the Kuma Tigers goalkeeper, which means at half-time here at the Riverside Stadium, it's the Panthers with the narrowest advantage. It's Panthers 1, Tigers 0. Welcome back to the Riverside Stadium here in Queanbeyan at half-time in the NPL Capital Football. It's Monaro Panthers 1, Tigers FC 0. J. James Ward with the goal. Mitch Stevens is with me, Russ Gibbs in commentary, the Tuggeranong United head coach. And at half-time we had a good chat with the Panthers' new signing, goalkeeper Evan Alexandra Ridley, back from overseas, telling us a little bit about his adventures in Lithuania, and gave us a match programme for a fixture he played against Celtic in the Champions League. Nice to see him and Tommy Rodgick on that team list.
Yeah, and a couple of really good stories really quickly. He's definitely someone I'd like to see and hear more from, and some of the experience he can bring back both to Monaro and maybe Canberra football as a whole could be really valuable.
He had a spell in Norway, he was telling us as well, and all sorts of stuff going on there. So, yeah, be good to see him in action as well. Just to give you an update, the 6 minutes into the second half at the AIS, it's still Belconnen 1, Woden 0. Luca Flores' early goal there. Looking at the teams out there for the Tigers, can't see any changes, Mitch, can you, at the moment?
Not at the moment, but I'd imagine some tactical changes would have to be coming. There's got to be a little bit more bite to this Tigers team. It can't just be possession. They've got to chase this game now.
Well, the 1-0 down, their team is Cole in goals, Spaseski, Redmond, Megic and Gabe Cole at fullback, Josefowski, Stricker and Borgner in midfield, Whittier, Shields and Tanini up front. We'd like to see, we were talking at half-time off air, Mitch, about Rocco Stricker and his quality and how we'd like to see him maybe grab the game a bit more by the scruff of the neck and dictate things.
Yeah, definitely. We keep saying he's just got such tremendous ability. He's absolutely one of the best players in the competition, but you know, it needs to be changes of tempo. There needs to be a little bit more to it that he's given this team.
The Panthers, for their troubles, are as follows. Alfrink in goal, Rosebach and Jenkins, Howe, Kachenko, Neo and Cashman, the goal scorer James Ward, Smith and Dahl, and Ahmed Shaibu, who we saw glimpses of in the first half, forced a decent save from Jacob Cole, and looked like he's got plenty to offer, and he'll be champing at the bit to get his first NPL goal.
I mean, it's similar for both sides to a degree. I mean, Mark Shields for Tigers, in that it can be a lonely job as a number 9 in these types of games when the bulk of possession is with the defence. You know, you're going to get a handful of touches in a half, and it can be hard to influence a game.
Well, he's going to have an influence right at the second half as he's kicking us off. Alex McConaughey with the whistle to the lips gets us underway, and the Panthers leading by that goal in the first half from J. James Ward. His first at this level. He'll be happy to get that under his belt.
Notable that press straight from the kickoffs from Tigers, and I think that will do them a world of good if they take that energy into this half.
Well, Redmond's got some work to do here. Does it well. Does enough. Talked about him coming through from the Cooma State League. Big find by Gabby Wilk initially. Settled into this side like he's been playing it forever.
It's an interesting one, that Cooma State League side. I actually played against them in the Malakuta Cup once, and I was surprised with actually some of the ability of the guys. There's some really talented footballers there. They love the game, and they certainly love Cooma.
I imagine they love the Malakuta Cup as well.
It's a fun place to be.
Football often secondary at that tournament. Did you win?
I can't remember, Russ.
And that proves my point.
Which says an awful lot. I had a good time.
It's Cashman to Ahmed Shaibu. Adam Neo. Ahmed Shaibu again loves to drop deep and pick the ball up in these positions. Early touch in the second half for Alfrink, who didn't have a lot to do in the first half, the goalkeeper. Had a tremendous performance last week, really unlucky to lose that. Made one outstanding save from a Daniel Balac header at the end. The Panthers are attacking now. In the end, the Panthers are getting a free kick.
This season's interesting, though. I mean, if you're at the hierarchy of Monaro, are you happy with improved performances this year? Is that what you want to see to set up a really great 2021? Or do you really want to go all out and make this unusual year something special? They certainly have to be impressed with what they've seen so far this game.
Launched into the penalty, looking for Howe on the far post. Free kick goes, whistle for a foul by Eli Howe. Little push on Redmond. Well, the first thing to do is get 3 points on the board. They won't want to start the season with back-to-back home defeats to Canberra, Croatia and Tigers. If they get 3 points under their belt today, it will give them a bit of momentum heading into next week's clash, where they travel to Canberra Olympic. Tough start to the season for them, isn't it? Canberra, Croatia, Tigers FC, Canberra Olympic.
But as I've previously mentioned, I don't think there's any games that you highlight in the calendar and say there's guaranteed 3 points. This type of the year, it's short, it's sharp, and everyone's super motivated to get on the pitch. So
there's another example of Magic trying to spread the play. 3 of last year's top 4, that is, though. So on paper, at least, it's a tough start to the campaign. Tigers on the front foot at the start of the second half, looking to attack and get themselves back into this match. Here's Jozefowski. They're going to force the corner, and he's done just that. And Rocco Stricker ambles over to take it.
just wonder if Michael Kitter being injected into this Tigers midfield might give a little bit more power, a bit more pace.
He's one of the substitutes. Alex Olarigby is another. If they're looking for a striker that can score goals, we know that he can score goals. Trained here in pre-season. Stricker's corner, swings it in towards the far post. Good defensive header by Eli Howe. Concedes a corner on the other side. And they'll load the penalty area again, Tigers, with plenty of numbers.
And once again, yeah, they've those in-swingers that Rocco could provide.
Gone short to Tanini. Interesting one. Just to fire it across goal here.
And no Tony Spaseski up either.
They've left him back.
I mean, I would...
Cluster of Tigers shirts on the top of the box, where this corner will be headed in towards Shields. Trundled away by J. James Ward, only as far as Spaseski. Lifted back in by Redman. Shields nods it wide. And then
he really made something out of nothing. There, Shields.
Well out of play. Woden hanging in there. An hour in at the AS, only 1-0 down. Yudi De Silva might feel he can get something from this match. Here, the onus is on Ryan Grogan to try and lift his side, who trail 1-0 to a goal 10 minutes before half-time. Smith wins the header. Dahl helps it on its way. Ahmed Shaibu. Dahl strong in the challenge, not as strong as Redmond, who comes away with the ball. And they've given it away to Ahmed Shaibu, and that was a very fortunate foot in.
If Dahl gets through that tackle, they've got a 2v1 on that left-hand side, and again, it's danger for Tigers.
Stricker. Well, it's a poor one as far as Smith, and he went straight and early for Ahmed Shaibu, and he didn't pick him out. It's Gabe Cole, formerly of the Academy, at Canberra United MYL Academy. Had a spell up in Sydney, apparently, before coming down to join Ryan Grogan's Tigers. Redmond wide. Spaseski step over and brings it away, and the chance here. He's continued his run. Real opportunity for the Tigers if they can pull this back, but now Farink was there, and that's a good burst forward from Tony Spaseski.
Super run. Really injected some pace into it that hasn't been seen a lot for this first sort of 50-odd minutes.
That's easy for Cole. Magic. Launches it towards Tanini, but that's going to be easy for Alfred. Were you surprised that Magic made the move from Olympic to Tigers? He's been a stalwart there for Canberra Olympic for a number of years.
I suppose I was. I mean, he always seemed to be loved and respected over in the blue over on that side of O'Connor. So was it a case of a fresh challenge? Was it something like that he was looking for? I'm not sure.
We've certainly got a fresh challenge.
Don't want Sam Smith taking this throw, surely.
Sam Smith didn't want to take this throw,
It
did
looked
he?
like he wanted it. Surely not you.
I left it to Rosbakken. Gets it back, the fullback. He had a spell overseas as well, didn't he, Sammy Rosbakken?
He was in Norway, I
Norway
believe.
as well, actually. Famous footballing family, the Rosbakkens. Kylie Rosbakken doing great things with Canberra United, the Matildas.
Oh, he's turned back. Oh, that's a poor call, boy. By the referee.
Wasn't helped by his lino, was he?
No.
I keep saying lino, assistant referee.
Assistant referee. Well, that was quite clearly the other way.
Jenkins looks for Howe. Kachenko. Happy to go to Eli Howe again, Robbie Kachenko, and let him play that ball forwards. Ahmed Shaibu brings it down nicely. He's caught late. Advantage is played as Nicky Dahl advances forwards. Smith swings it to the near post. He's taken a deflection, and somehow the Tigers have got away with that one. That came off of Lawrence Redmond, and that could have gone absolutely anywhere. In amongst all that, Nathan Medjicks picked up a yellow card.
Picked up a booking.
Left one in on Ahmed Shaibu, didn't he?
I actually think he might have clipped him with his arm just on the face. It did look accidental, to be fair, but...
Jacob Cole breathed a sigh of relief, didn't he, when that came off of Redmond's foot, as did the central defender. That could have gone anywhere.
You don't expect that ball to be spinning back at you like that.
I'll tell you what, you fire that across goal and ask Lawrence Redmond 9 times out of 10 to try and put that where he put it. And I imagine it ends up in the back of the net a couple of times.
Yep.
But Ahmed Shaibu picks himself gingerly off the floor. Doesn't have to go off, of course, because a yellow card was administered, which means he can limp his way forward into the penalty area and try and get on the end of this one. Panthers committed a few to this.
Yeah.
Swung into that near post. Cashman's there. Rosbakken. Cashman again. Spacesky out quickly.
He's got to make sure he get his little head check in there, Cashy, because otherwise you can turn into trouble real quick.
Well, Spacesky had made his mind up from a long way away that he was going for that ball. Made it his. Smith. Ahmed Shaibu. Into the area, and that should be a goal kick. I think that's come off Cole. In fact, it must have ricocheted off Cole onto Ahmed Shaibu, onto Cole again, because the corner has been awarded. A chance for Jenkins and Howell to come forward, the tall artillery from the back.
Gabe Cole was in charge of marking Dave Jenkins' last corner. Could be quite the challenge if the delivery's good for the youngster.
It's a chance for Neo to swing it in. Again, Adam Neo on the edge of the area. Smith plays it forward. It's bounced off Neo. That's out for another corner. Just to bring you some scores from NPL2 today. Wagga City Wanderers 0, Woden Western Football Club 0. O'Connor Knights 2, Queanbeyan City 3. Brindabella Blues 4, Narrabundah 1. And ANU 0, White Eagles 2. All those scores on the Capital Football Facebook page, if you want to check on those again. Ball swung to the far post. Howe looked for the header. Big win for White Eagles at ANU there. That's ANU. 2 losses in a row.
Yeah, for a side that is just so strong for so many years.
Another point for Wagga City Wanderers as well. So 4 for them to start the season.
As always, until you watch the game, though, it might not tell the full story.
Of course. That's going to be too long, you think. Smith nods it back in. The flag has gone up. Heart in mouth time again for the Tigers for a moment, though. We're going to see a change, I think, from the Tigers. Looks like
Michael Kitter.
Yeah, about to join us. Who's he going to replace is the key.
My instinct says Goran, and it does appear to be who's going off.
Kitter for Jozefowski. Another player who, when he's on his game, brings something completely different to the team, doesn't he?
Just a real natural. You know, sometimes he gets out of trouble that he has no right to do, and he's such a strong athlete.
Well, looks like a like-for-like replacement. Dropped into that hole in front of the back four. Spaseski finds Redmond. Here's Kitter. First involvement.
Not his best. He'll need to be better than that.
Checking out the cobwebs. Space for Stricker. Can he pick a pass? Going forward. Closed him down very quickly. Here is Kitter. Magic. Now Redmond. Touch around the corner and a chance here for Whittier. It's not Whittier, in fact, is it? The ball's poor. It's going to break for Whittier now, to Tanini rather. On the turn, drives it goalwards and didn't get anything on it. It was Whittier's ball in, and Alfarink happy to see that come down to him.
The build-up from Whittier was beautiful. Great little touch around the corner. Got himself in space, but it was the first touch again that let him down. That's the second time this match he's got into a great spot. I need to let himself down.
Jenkins with the long ball forwards.
Some pass.
It's Ahmed Shaibu bursting into the penalty area. Here's Lukman Ahmed Shaibu still going. Goes down. Cashman's drive. There was half-hearted appeals for a spot kick from some in the crowd.
It looked like he anticipated contact just prior. The challenge wasn't made, and then he sort of lost focus.
Panthers' turn to make a change. Aaron Cashman going off. And I think it's Anton Hosowski replacing him. Again, a like-for-like change, really. Smith was in there. It's a sore one.
Both players went down.
That was Hosowski's first touch. Now chance for the Tigers on the break. Borgner.
Do it at pace.
Not the best pass. Behind Tanini. Forced him to come backwards from Cole. And that's allowed the Panthers to get everybody back in defensive positions. Magic swings one out towards Whittier. Does well to win the header. Only found how, though. Do I feel faint droplets of rain coming down? You can see it in the floodlights, in fact, Mitch.
I hadn't noticed until you said something, Russ.
I've ruined your evening. Here's Ahmed Shaibu in behind for the Panthers. Once again, standing up his man, still going, looking for a bit of support. Not many there. Rosebarken's come up from fullback. Thought about the first time shot. James Wardson Dahl. Osofsky. Neo. Steps away from two challenges. Rosebarken, decent first time ball in, that towards Ahmed Shaibu. Good header clear from Spaseski.
Great defensive header.
They did say we were going to get some rain over the course of the next 24 hours, which will make it interesting for myself and Frank Keisha at Deakin tomorrow.
Ahmed Shaibu, though, in that chance in the box, he twisted, he turned, he made space, but then he wanted to do it again. He'd done the damage, needed to release the shot.
Is Borgner. Cole. Borgner. Smith closes him down sharply. Oh, that's a difficult one. Jeez, that wasn't too far away, was it? Magic took his eye off it for a moment, and Ahmed Shaibu could have been in on goal.
Caught everyone by surprise.
Swing to this near side towards Cole. Borgner. Looks towards Whittier. Brought it down nicely. Immediately, two Panthers defenders converge. He swings it in and it's struck the side netting. 70 minutes into the second half, still that goal from J. James Ward in the first half. The difference between the two teams. Belconnen United with 20 minutes to go at the AIS, still hanging on to that 1-0 lead against Worden Western. Judging by what we've seen, they had the better of it in the second half as well, the Blue Devils. But 1-0 is a precarious scoreline at both venues. Whittier got some space perhaps to cross this. Howell's there. They've closed him down quickly, haven't they, as soon as he's got it, Sam Whittier?
Yeah, he hasn't managed to get it too much in the way of delivery in.
One by Kitter. Bounces its way through to Nathan Alfrink. Jenkins brings it forward. Nice touch that towards Adam Neo. Kitter. Sends it wide. Bit of space for Whittier to run at Kachenko again here.
It's on his left.
Or Stricker lined it up. It still might come nicely for Tonini. Well, that had to be a corner, surely.
Surely
I'm not sure that Rocco Stricker's got that in his armoury. And it is a corner. It's physically impossible, I think, to play that ball.
It's not the first one in this half that's been a little unusual.
It's a chance for Stricker to deliver this. And Tigers committing a lot forward because the Panthers have put every single player back into the penalty area. Very clustered in there at the moment. Borgen has taken up a position just in front of Alfrink. They've gone short after all that. Stricker again, and he's going to get another chance.
They've tried that short routine a couple of times now. Hasn't quite come off.
Well, out of your picture, Jacob Cole's on the halfway line.
He would love to come up for the corner, I'm sure.
Bit early for that.
Not if you ask him.
Can Stricker deliver this one? Goes flat to the near post again and hooked goalward, but well over by Whittier. After all the decent far post corners they swung in last week against yourself, Mitch, they've all been flat and low this week.
I don't want to think about it. Like I said, we've seen nothing like the delivery last week. Them's the breaks.
Alfrink sends it forwards. Nice touch by Ahmed Shaibu to Dahl. Kachenko on the overlap. J. James Ward asked a fair bit of him there.
It's brave though. I like when those fullbacks join the attack.
Nice touch there from James Ward. Looking for Ahmed Shaibu. Dahl. Jenkins.
Even the way he steps into midfield to provide support straight away. It's such a confident Monaro side at the moment.
James Ward to take on his man, and he's got the better of him here. An opportunity. Ahmed Shaibu goes near post. Neo wants it on the edge of the box. Made a late run in. Picks out neither of them in the end, but they keep possession, the Panthers. Eli Howe runs straight into Borgner, and he shields ahead of him. Support coming now on both sides. Here's Whittier. So it's Stricker, is it? Into the penalty area. Good run this, and he goes down to the challenge. It's a penalty. And it had to come. And there's a yellow card in there as well. Easy decision.
That's how dynamic of a player he can be. And we haven't seen it for 70, almost 70 minutes. You're thinking you'd love to see it more if you're a Tigers FC fan.
Just a burst from Rocco Stricker to get him into the penalty area, and in the end, the challenge concedes the spot kick. And it was Stricker himself who's picked himself up to take this. Nathan Alfrink between the posts for the Panthers. Rocco Stricker strides forwards and drills it into the bottom corner, and the Tigers draw level. One from a free kick last week, that one from a bit closer in. Same result, 1-1.
And Monaro is so disappointed. Tigers really haven't created much. They're getting to that point of the half now where, the opposition are going to have to make a decision. But now at 1-1, there's so much work to be done again if they want those 3 points.
Just that extra acceleration to get him into the position as well, and he drew the challenge. Meanwhile, here's Sam Smith looking to restore the Panthers' lead. Dahl's coming in. Swings it in towards Ahmed Shaibu. It's going to fall for Smith. Blocked by Cole, who lamps that one forward and asks Shields to get after it, but Jenkins watched it all the way. Rosbakken. Good twist and turn to get away from his marker. Smith.
Oh, I'd love him to go, just to keep it going across the area there. They had numbers.
Did you see who picked up the yellow card? I wasn't quite sure.
I couldn't see from here, unfortunately, Ross.
I think we're told it was Nick Dahl who made the challenge. So he'll need to be a little bit careful as well. Kitta. He's quite stamped himself on it just yet, has he?
Not yet.
Magic. Good ball over the top. Here is Sam Whitty, got him behind, fires it across, and that was a really important touch from Eli Howe. There was two Tigers converging behind him. So a handball against Julian Borgner, not given by Alex McConaughey, surprisingly.
It's another obvious one.
A lovely touch that from Adam Neo, and here they come flying forward again, the Panthers. That goal seems to open it up a bit more.
This half's been a little bit different, though. Teams have been a bit more direct.
Tanini.
Stretches the play.
Cole. Turn backwards. Rosbucken finds Ahmed Shaibu. Nick Dahl. Neo. Dahl once more. Smith. Will he run at Cole here? Finds Rosbucken in support. He will. Now Smith. Ricochet is hammered clear by Redman. Doesn't feel like the scoring's done, does it?
No, not now.
Another change. Ben Basser Silk about to come on. And it's J. James Ward who goes off. It was his goal. His first at NPL senior grade that gave the Panthers the lead.
He's done plenty of good stuff with the ball today.
In similar substitution, Ben Basser Silk will slip into that forward role.
Adam Near looked like he's gone out wide left. So Basser Silk will come in as a 6 by the looks of things.
It's been a second goal at the AIS, I think. It did say goal. I'm not sure it has been. Maybe it's being chalked off. I think Belconnen scored for a moment. It may have been chalked off for a reason. I'm going to see a third substitution here.
Alex Olarigby, and it's for Jared Tanini.
The mercurial Alex Olarigby. 107 NPL goals for Alex Olarigby. Like I said, trained here in pre-season. He's also played for Canberra FC, Tuggeranong United. A couple of spells at Tigers.
Woden Western.
Woden Western as well.
Woden Valley.
Before they were Woden Western.
Correct.
You coached there for a bit, didn't you, Mitch?
I did. In their final year as a Premier League club.
I will point out they weren't relegated or anything. You didn't take them down. They just changed their name.
I think our claim to fame that year is we did the double over a Frank Keisha Olympic, and not too many sides could probably say that.
Not in that era, no. Jenkins sends that forward. It's going to be a free kick here for a foul by Eli Howe. And this is very much in Rocco Stricker range.
Big time. I reckon that's a little bit harsh on Howe. Just a little. But what does Rocco service up?
Well, it was from this kind of distance that he scored at Nijong last week.
A little bit more central.
It's probably perfectly placed for him for a left footer, to be honest, to get it up and over the wall. And Nathan Alfrink's going to need to be on his toes here. It's Rocco Stricker from distance. It's a good effort, but it moved a bit, and Alfrink was right behind it.
It may have taken a touch off the wall too, so Nathan's done really well.
9 minutes to go at the AS. That goal was disallowed. It's Belconnen 1, Woden 0 still. That one's very much in the balance. This one too, 1 apiece. Quarter of an hour plus to go here. Still no closer to knowing who's going to come away with 3 points. You think the team that's brave here might well come out on top?
Yeah. I mean, still feels like it's just going to be one of those diagonal balls. Delivered well, into space. It's going to be the one that opens the...
Bassa Silk tries to play it, and he's got runners in behind here. Claiming a corner, but I think it's going to be and it's given. Jacob Cole not happy.
I think that was the old flip a coin. Hard to tell.
Took a guess. Comes up black and green.
That was the ball in behind that we're talking about, that diagonal.
They go short. Bassa Silk delivers. Redmond gets rid. Nice touch from Shields. Brings Magic into play. Not much ahead of him though.
He's actually done really well to find that option and retain possession.
Cole. What can he do? We can pick out Sam Whittier on the far side. He's got Borgner in front. Ola Rigby straight down the middle. His first involvement. Ola Rigby still going into the penalty area. They want another penalty here. And the free kick's gone the other way.
I think for Hempel, perhaps.
I'll tell you what, Alex Ola Rigby caused them some palpitations there for a moment, didn't he?
Not as quick as he used to be, but I tell you, he's still got a nose for goal. He's where he needs to be when that ball drops in that 18-yard box.
Fair to say, one of the characters of the Premier League here in Canberra.
Definitely.
Here's Royce Barkin. Ahmed Chabi's touch lets him down. Borgner. Whittier, he's got a lot of space out there. Sam Whittier.
I like the reaction from Ahmed there, though. Yes, he makes a mistake, but immediately transition quick to help win that ball back, get back in defence, and that's, you want to see that.
Spaseski. Disgusted with himself with the pass.
He's been quite impressive at right back.
Well, you know what you're getting with Tony Spaseski, don't you? 100% wholehearted effort every game, whether you play him at fullback or in the centre of defence, or indeed further forward, if needs be.
It's a little bit of a dilemma for Tigers FC in that, you've got Taniti out of position, essentially.
Come back to that thought in a minute, Mitch, as Smith takes his forward. He's lining one up from range. Well, here's a break up the other end for Ola Rigby. And he shields up with him. 4 Panthers players back. Ola Rigby tried the disguise border shields, didn't quite pay off.
It's the right thinking. Execution wasn't quite there.
How? New. Kachenko invited to attack. Not shy to take up the invitation either. They'll get a free kick here, Will Panthers. If it stays this way, who's this a better point for, Mitch? Maybe think about that as we bring this attack with Rosebark and Nick Dull. He's got away here. Can he pick out a shirt in the middle? He can, and it was a real chance for Sam Rosebark, who's blazed it over the crossbar and perhaps should have done better, at least work Jacob Cole.
It's a real feature of this build-up, though, that those fullbacks get on. If they see space, they attack, but occasionally, if you can ask a right back to finish clinically, you might be disappointed.
But going back to my point, and talking about the point, who's this a better point for, in your opinion?
Tigers FC. I think they've already got 3 points this season, and I definitely think, just in general play, I think Monaro's been the better side.
We've still got 15 minutes to go here. Only 5 to go at Woden and Western, which apparently kicked off at the same time, so go figure that out.
Something unusual's happening.
Borgner, nice ball over the top.
Fantastic
Improvisation ball. Finds Ola Rigby. Ball tied to his feet, and Jenkins needed to be aware. Ahmed Shaibu flicks it on. Redmond tidies up and sends it back to Cole.
But the way The way Ola Rigby carries that ball on his right foot and drives at that near post, that angle he has, you know, young players are watching who play out on the left or right, but the way he does it, the technique he uses, it's so dangerous.
Jenkins lifts that one wide. Spaseski, that's a really good composed header from Tony Spaseski.
He read that ball very, very early, got himself into great position, and not only won the header, but dealt with it so well.
Silk, Horsovsky. Redmond just stabs it clear. Dahl brings it down, looks to find Ahmed Shaibu. The deflection of Magic means Spaseski can bring it away. Happy to go back to Cole to start again. Redmond. Kitta. Here's Magic. Borgner. Ola Rigby. Kitta again. There's that change of direction, just overhit that one. They managed to find Sam Witcher in a lot of space there in the second half. Seems to be their best alley of attack.
Yes, that's the ball that they're looking for regularly. They're definitely, since those substitutions though, Tigers are finding a little bit more room at the back of the Monaro midfield.
Cole to Spaseski. Stricker, whose penalty levels the scores. Have we got a winner amongst these two? Will someone take the mantle and make themselves a hero and give their side all 3 points? Spaseski drives it wide. Now Ola Rigby's in behind here. Chance for Alex Ola Rigby into the penalty area, looking to create the shooting angle, but didn't quite have the pace of yesteryear. Alex Ola Rigby 5 years ago is in on goal there.
And I think he finishes it comfortably. Sam Rossback will be really disappointed he misread that.
Ahmed Shaibu, ooh, you almost squeezed that through. That was like amped. There. Lost it there for a moment.
You certainly did.
I was trying to say agile by Nathan Magic. Meanwhile, at the other end is a chance in the penalty area, and now Frink comfortably saves.
And as we head into this 10, all of a sudden now it feels like it's Tigers creating all the best opportunities.
Ahmed Shaibu.
Monaro going down the other end and proved me wrong.
Well, there's Eli Howe, who's made a burst forward from centre-back. Playing as an auxiliary left-back for a moment.
He's good enough technically to do it, to be fair. I could imagine him as a left-back.
So Panthers on the attack, Niu. Howe. Not a good touch. Now it's a chance for Tigers to bring it away.
The one man Monaro don't want on the ball.
Stricker advancing forwards. Looks for Borgner. Not shy of a shot, Julian Borgner, and fires one away and finds the bottom corner. Give him half a yard and he'll find the net. The Tigers roar and lead 2-1 as time ticks away.
You know, I only just said it. It felt like Tigers were coming into their own and being dominant for really the first time in the match. But when they go, they do look capable. And Julian Borgner, I mean, he's scored some wonderful goals over the years when he's played at this level. So it's not surprising when he gets on that right foot. He's so capable.
7 minutes to go. They've turned this one round. They were 1-0 down, now they're 2-1 up. That's a third goal of the season for Julian Borgner in just the second week.
Yeah, playing a more central role this week, and he's definitely been more influential this second half. I think he found it difficult to find some space in that first half.
His 30th NPL goal at this level. Timely one as well. You just can't give him that space in that position to come onto that right foot because, well, you've seen the results.
I mean, you look at this Tigers side, and that's one of those things that they might not be playing well, but if, you know, they're in the game, and a Michael Kidd, an Olaribi, Mark Shields, any of these guys get some space, they will hurt you.
Here is Borgner. It's a very short season, and it might be too early to say, but this next 6 or 7 minutes might be pivotal for the Panthers. Some of these younger players who've been around for a while at this level, though, they're finding out what life is like.
I was actually
against the
just...
top teams.
It makes me think of your comment when you talk about pre-season games and them not being behind, and there's a part of that actually makes me think as a coach, you really want to explore every scenario, any situation as a coach going into the season. So what is the reaction like? What do we do tactically? What's the change in behaviours that you see from your players now to turn this around? Because you wouldn't begrudge them an equaliser. I feel like they do deserve it, but this is a big challenge. On
the positive side for them, when they conceded last week here, they had no time at all whatsoever, really, to get back into it. At least they've given themselves 5 or 6 minutes here. Dahl. Rosebarken, who had a glorious chance to put them ahead. Looking to rectify the situation. What a run this is from Sam Rosebarken, and what a tackle that is from Michael Kitter to deny him at the death.
What a run. What a run. That little shuffle with the ball was...
They've gone early with the corner. Kitter's there again. Sense of urgency around the ground in the final 6 minutes at the Riverside. Smith fires it across, and that one's up towards us. It's hooked away by Strucker.
Can just bounce him and play across.
Well, not a good touch from Bassasilk. Now Shields, he's away here. Has he got the pace? All on his lonesome, Mark Shields. Oh, doesn't need anyone else. Took a deflection. Alfred was scrambling. It's a corner.
Just even the way, though, he buys that bit of time for himself. He knew he couldn't outrun the defence. Bought a bit of time, and he's desperately close to scoring what would be the winning goal.
They're 4 minutes into stoppage time at the AIS. Belconnen leading 1-0. In fact, the final whistle has just gone, has it? Looks like it has, and Belconnen United are 2 from 2. A 1-0 victory to go with their 2-1 win last week. Ball swung in towards the far post. 6 points for Belconnen to start the season. At the moment, they'll be second on goal difference behind the Tigers if it stays this way.
A really solid start. And that was noticeable even last week watching the team, that how much you knew Paul Makel was coaching. The way they played, they're so defensively organised, tough, gritty.
Luca Flores' goal, the difference there. Smith. Panthers sending plenty of players forward, looking for the run. That's Mitch Jervis-Hamilton who's come on. Is it Adam Neer who's gone? I think it is.
Yep.
Another striker on up front to try and add weight to it. Shields nods it forward. Here's Ola Rigby. Again, he's on his own. Thought he might strike that one for a moment.
I was just thinking the same thing. He's been a little bit selfless.
It sat up for him, didn't it?
Yeah. Even before he's played passes where I would have thought he may have gone himself.
Well, the ball's at the right end of the park as far as the Tigers are concerned. You still feel there might be one big chance left in this one. Free kick to Tigers.
There's enough experience, though, looking around that Tiger side of that. If they're intelligent with what they do, they can close out this game. But
well, they're going to swing this into the penalty area. Redmond's come up to help from the back. It's launched in there towards Shields, who wins the header, and he nods it just wide. Good chance, that.
I don't think I'm exaggerating by saying that. I think Tigers FC have probably created more chances in the last 10 minutes than they had for the rest of the game.
Well, as it stands, they don't need a third, but I'm sure it'll make them feel a lot more comfortable. Because the Panthers look threatening on the break. Here's Ahmed Shabu looking for the little flick around the corner. And he's back nibbling and giving away a free kick.
You need your number 9 holding that ball up.
Not happy with that challenge, were they, Tigers? Was this Pasewski he caught?
I think so. He was carrying it forward.
He's happy to get a little bit of treatment, Tony Pasewski, as the time ticks away. Should it stay like this? Where does this leave Jimmy Canarides and the Monaro Panthers?
It all depends on those discussions that have happened off the pitch prior about what do they want this year. I'm telling you now, I've been really impressed with them tonight. It'd be super disappointing to be 2-1 down now, but you know, there's some really good football. They do look a much better outfit than they have in the past, but you know, if they've sort of set the aim's been to win games and be part of the top four even this season, then it would be disappointing to come away with nothing again tonight.
They played well the last 2 weeks, and they came away with nothing here against Canberra, Croatia, and at the moment they're coming away with nothing from this one against Tigers FC. Yeah,
football can be cruel like that. You know, you can really put some great stuff together, and
on another day they'll play a lot worse than win.
Yes, guarantee it. You know, and it's developing that mentality that says, you know, don't finish a season ruining those games where you did play well and didn't take chances, or you know, didn't defend a set piece properly. I mean, that's where the really good sides put together consistent performances and get those results.
Well, Pasewski's in a bad way here. Looks like an ankle injury of some description. He's going off. They do have another substitute up their sleeves. They've got Daniel Grove, Martin Cromor, young Marcus Gurzic. I think it was a youngster, Gurzic, who's come on for his debut.
It appears to be the way.
Doesn't get any easier for the Panthers. They're off to O'Connor next week to play Canberra Olympic. I think that's the match that we're covering next Saturday on Bar TV Sports.
Hopefully Olympic will be 2 losses to the good for the year by that point. One can hope.
And that's because Mitch Stevens, of course, is head coach of Tuggeranong United, who they play at Canberra tomorrow. Some would say that's a rather selfish viewpoint, but understandable in the situation.
I hope so.
I'm sure if Robbie Catanach is watching, he'll thank you for your best wishes.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Ola Rigby trying to get away from Bassa Silk. He's still on his feet here, Alex Ola Rigby. Good run this from the forwards. Chance out wise. And they went for a little finish with the outside of the foot there, Sam Whittier. Half-hearted appeal for handball from a group of...
one small group of...
Queanbeyan City supporters. Queanbeyan City players, in fact. The rivalry between Monaro and Queanbeyan.
I just can't understand why they wouldn't want a penalty against Monaro.
It's a corner for Kuma.
They've got 4 back, covering all angles.
No rush to take it. I'm sure it's going short. We're into stoppage time. Panthers hunting in packs, trying to win this ball back. Nice
Done
feet
really
there.
well.
Well, I think it was Bassa Silk whose feet got him away. Now, plenty of Tigers back though. Strucker wins it back. There's a big cluster of players battling for that in midfield. Oh, it's a thumping challenge. Was that Nick Dahl? And he's already been carded, hasn't he? That's a second yellow for Nick Dahl. And his day is done in stoppage time. And I don't think he can have too many complaints, to be fair.
It didn't look like a pretty tackle from here, Russ, to be totally honest.
Seemed to be definitely cardable, didn't it?
Yeah.
And having already picked up one for the foul on Stricker that conceded the penalty. Harsh end to the day for Nick Dahl, who's had a reasonable game.
But, you know, it's funny, again, this is what he needs to learn for next year, is that, okay, today may have gotten away, maybe has got away from the side, but now he's suspended for next week.
It leaves Jimmy Canarides with some issues ahead of that game against Olympic.
And that's the frustrating part, you know, you need to be smart.
in the scheme of things, it might not cost Panthers too much tonight. I doubt they're going to be down to 10 for very long, because we're well into stoppage time already. And the Panthers not committing too many, Tigers rather, not committing too many forwards. It's Gabe Cole on possession. Kitter plays that against Smith. Sliced out by Gabe Cole. Perhaps the last chance for 10-man Monaro. Smith. Borgner gets a toe to it. Stricker sends it wide. Chance for Whittier. James Hamilton back to help out defensively. Stricker. Borgner, whose goal looks like giving the Tigers all 3 points this evening. Kitter. Nice ball forward to Cole. Good build-up, this. Ola Rigby. Kitter, exactly what Ryan Gregg would have wanted at the moment. Just keep possession, but Bassasilk wins it back. Now here's a chance for Smith.
You've jinxed Kitter there.
All on his own at the moment. Ahmed Shobi coming up in support on the far post. That's where Smith looks for the ball. Redmond wins it well. Stricker thumps it up the park. There should be a flag here against Shields.
That has to be a free kick.
It's either free kick or offside, but the advantage is being played. Here's Howe. Bassasilk. Kuchenko. Bassasilk. Bit of space. And that's come off a hand. And that's a free kick. And this might be a card here for Lawrence Redmond.
It seems a little harsh.
Or deliberate handball, perhaps. Anyway, it's given Panthers a chance to just load the penalty area with as many players as they can. A final opportunity, perhaps, to swing this into a dangerous area, and Tigers need to be on their toes. Is there a dramatic conclusion to this one at the Riverside? Can kind of just see the players through the mist on the far side.
It's got to beat that near post man.
Jervis Hamilton
it's got
over
to have
it.
some pace.
Lifts it towards the far post. Howe came in. Couldn't get a touch. Spanked clear by Borgner. J. James Ward acting as a ball boy here. Rosbakken.
He's got to do this quicker.
Hoshowski. Rosbakken facing the wrong way as far as the Panthers are concerned. Wins another free kick, and still we go. Rosbakken wants to get on with it quickly.
And I mean, Mark Shields picked that ball up knowing full well which way the free kick was going.
He's about 5 metres away from this, Mark Shields, and Alex Olorugby with him, two experienced players. This is going to be launched into the penalty area, in towards the Panthers, cluster of Panthers players. Olorugby can bring it away. Shields up ahead of him, looking for contact. Borgner sends it forward. That took a deflection as well, and should be a Tigers throw. As you'd expect, in no rush at all. I feel like we've had about 5 minutes of stoppage time here, Mitch. And still we go.
And Monaro attempted a throw.
Gabe Cole is going to launch this down towards Alex Olorugby.
That's poor by Kumar, though. I mean, Alex isn't ready. They've thrown it to no one.
Is there something left? Hoshowski sends it forward. Smith can't get under control. Redmond sends that towards the river. Out the ground, as far as he can get it away.
And that's where Ryan would have wanted that ball.
Because the other match ball is right down in the far corner. Nathan Alfring's gone to fetch it. Deep, deep, deep into stoppage time. Jervis Hamilton brings it under control. Jenkins, who stayed forward, he's been caught late by Kitter. Should be another free kick and another chance for the Panthers.
I'm a bit surprised that wasn't a yellow card, to be honest.
They've dodged one there, Michael Kitter. Well, everybody except for Nathan Alfrink is behind this ball. Everybody in a green and black shirt looking for an unlikely equaliser.
Jenkins looks free at the back here just quietly.
Lifted in towards Jenkins, who did win the header but couldn't get under control, and that might well be that. Alex McConaughey looks at his watch and decides that's full time, and a big, big 3 points for Tigers coming from behind. They went 1-0 down early, but they've turned it around in the second half. A penalty from Rocco Stricker and Julian Borgner firing the winner, and Mitch harsh on Monaro, but Tigers showing just what quality they've got.
I mean, we really didn't see Tigers anywhere near their attacking best, except for the end of the second half. That's what we saw. But when it's on, we've seen what happens. Very harsh on Monaro tonight, and they'll feel hard done by last week too. But there's some things to work on there, and I mean a conversation. So, for example, Nick Dahl in terms of you can't afford that 10 men chasing the game. It hurts next week, it hurts tonight, and they're the lessons that have to be taken for this side going forward.
Well, thanks for your company, Mitch, and good luck tomorrow against Canberra Olympic down there at Canberra. Should be a decent match for everybody who wants to tune into Bar TV Sports. Yeah,
looking forward to it, and like I said, we're happy football's back. That's the other one. So whether it be here commentating, as a spectator, coaching, playing, it's nice to be back.
And as that rain starts to come down again, I think it might be settling in for us for the match at Deakin Stadium tomorrow afternoon, live at Bar TV Sports at 3:15. You could join myself and Frank Kasha for Canberra, Croatia versus Gungahlin United, which should be an absolute belter. Here at the Riverside, though, it's the Tigers FC that have won the Battle of the Big Cats. They were 1-0 down in the first half when J. James Ward scored his first NPL goal, but a penalty from Rocco Stricker and then a match winner from Julian Borgner, his third goal in just 2 starts this season, have given Ryan Grogan and the Tigers a maximum 6-point return from their first 2 matches. It's finished at the Riverside Stadium. Monaro Panthers 1, Tigers FC 2.